Alrighty, boom. And boom! We are rolling, folks. Another edition, Beyond Average, Thursday, April 4th, 2024. I am joined by none other than Justin Trudell. How you doing over there, my guy?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Mick?
Very good. Thank you for coming down to the studio. I appreciate this.
Yeah, I figured I was in the studio today. Me and Coleman just wrapped up filming what was probably the worst show in the history of ever.
Producer show?
The producer show.
Oh, boy.
And so I was like, oh, we were talking about what's on the network tonight. And he said, Mick. And I was like, I haven't seen my guy Mick in a while. It's been a minute. Like, last time I really saw you was when we were here filming stuff for Portland. But
yeah.
So I figured I'd hit you up, see like, hey, you want me to, I think I texted you. I was like, hey, what did I say? I was like,
you said, you need one for Beyond Average tonight, or you need a +1 for BAP tonight. I was like, absolutely. This is perfect.
You were like, yeah, we'll do a StreamYard. And I was like, no. I was like, no. Listen.
Yeah, it's a good point.
StreamYard's fine. But I like in person. It's much better. You
said that last time you were on the show. You said the next time I come and do the episode, it's going to be in person, because you offered that time as well. And I thought you were joking.
Everyone thinks I'm joking.
I was like, I'll drive anywhere.
I think
you are. You're willing to go anywhere. You certainly are. You mentioned Portland there, so let's just talk about that right off the top, because it's still fresh on my mind, and I'm sure some of the Minute fans as well. Give me your overall thoughts on the live show. Obviously, I know you talked about it on the main show, but just give me your thoughts a couple of days later. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about your performance specifically? And I guess just anything that you regret afterwards.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, the Minute fans just come out and support every single time. It's not that you forget, but you're just reminded every single live show where these people travel from, it's Easter weekend and you see people there like, oh yeah, no, I'm from Connecticut. I'm from Maryland. I'm from Delaware. These people drive all over. It's just insane to see the loyalty and how awesome the Minute fans are, and just have a great time. Obviously, Kirk just puts on an incredible performance. It's something I heard you on your other episode about how like you're the heir apparent to KMS. Everyone knows that.
We've established that.
But even like I think we can agree that when you do take over, you won't be able to. You're not. Maybe your live shows. I mean, obviously they'll be at like the TD Garden, but it'll just be the podcast.
I'm glad you said that.
It won't be
much bigger venues. Right,
it'll be huge venues.
MetLife Stadium. We're looking
exactly.
at.
We're gonna sell out SoFi Stadium. And
right. No, I could never do that. You're 1,000% right. The entertainment level, especially do that for 2.5 hours plus. It's incredible.
It's just insane. I think Kirk said it on the show during the show. He's like the average. He looked up the average live podcast is like an hour 30. I don't know if you've ever been to a live podcast before.
No, just KMS.
But for the most part, it legitimately is just. Sometimes they don't even there's like nothing different.
Right.
They'll just announce it and they'll just be like, hey, how's everyone going? And they'll sit down and they'll be like, today we have a guest on who is a scientist out of Yale. And they'll just do it, and then they'll just release it as like a normal episode. There's no like crowd reaction. It's no like.
It's almost like a kind of what he does. Not the same thing, but like a Subway show. It's almost a similar vibe to that.
I would say it's like I would say like a Subway show is in between, because Kirk he's still like playing to the crowd. Like some podcasts you go and they don't acknowledge the crowd. They'll come out. They'll be like, hey, thanks everyone for coming out. We're gonna have a fun time, and then they just go out and they sit and they just do it. Yeah. And I mean, hey, it works, but like it's tough when you think about it, because like radio shows and podcasts aren't like made for like live audiences.
Okay.
Like, like the average, the like
to most shows, yeah, for sure.
Like just the concert, like if you go to like you're like, oh, you like a band, you're like, oh, I'd love to hear it live.
Right.
But like, because that's the ideal listening experience. Normally the ideal listening experience to a podcast is with like a good pair of headphones. Yeah. And you're sitting on your couch,
like commuting somewhere.
That's the best way to listen to it. But Kirk, I think Kirk knows that, and he's like, I need to go above and beyond, and he just puts on a hell of a performance and just blows away the crowd. So that's my main takeaway. My performance is the one thing I've reflected on the past couple of days, and I'm going to try to do a better job going forward. Is I was just way too nervous leading up to it and during the show. I think it was very focused on, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing. On just everything going perfectly, but I was way too nervous. I bleed nervous energy when I'm nervous. Like there's no like, I don't think Justin. It's like oh fuck, Justin's like
pretty apparent.
And it came out like Kirk was like, hey, apparently Chris Coleman was saying like, oh, Justin and Julie were getting at it. I'm sure I was snippy to Mike. I was snippy to pretty much everyone. So that's something I got to work on. But I think things went well for the most part. I mean, it's all Kirk's doing and everything like that. His vision for the show is just incredible. Going into it and having like the different segments planned out and having them all flow flawlessly throughout the night, because there really wasn't like a time where it's like, oh, lol. Oh, and here's the video for Big Cat. Like there was always a good lead in. There was always a good, like, nothing was forced. It was great. I've never, believe it or not, I was thinking about this too, that I've never been to one of these live shows in the audience. And I'm sure that's a different experience than being on stage and being a part. Obviously it's a different experience, but you just look out in the crowd and just everyone just having just a fucking hell of a time. It's just like,
are you aware of that in the moment? Like, are you looking for people's reactions after videos, after certain bits? Like when Mutt came out, were you like, all right, the crowd's gonna go nuts here? Is there a time? Like,
not really, because I don't have the best eyesight to begin with.
Fair.
And the lights aren't.
I noticed that about you with the laptop. You put your laptop very close. To your face.
I
almost commented on that last time.
Like people think it's a joke.
I think it's a tablet. I didn't know what you were doing.
On my phone.
Yeah.
Here, like my font size is bigger.
It's pretty big. Yeah.
It's biggest,
not quite Menors, but it's the
biggest you can go without going into like the disability. You can make it better, but you have to go into the disability settings. And I'm like, but yeah, no, I mean, just the loud pops are incredible.
Yeah.
It is just something I've thought about reflecting on it these past couple of days. I'm just like, oh, I just need to get better because, I just because the more nervous I am, the more nervous other people. And obviously Kirk's not going to feed off of that, but I just need to try to do better in that regard.
Yeah, I was hard on you. I was really hard on you. And I ended up giving you a C for my grade. That was because of what I expected from you, what I expect your strengths to be. And a lot of that is on the show, going back and forth with Kirk, whether he's kind of beating on you or just the chemistry. You guys have really good chemistry together. So
best chemistry.
Yeah, A+, right? But no, but for like a producer, I think it's pretty good. And for at least compared to Coleman, he's still kind of new to the show and kind of learning it all, at least in my opinion.
Yep.
So when I was down on you there, kind of like you're saying, it's probably more towards you're just nervous. You want the show to go well. So I completely understand that. But overall, I enjoyed the show. I think everybody around me enjoyed the show.
Where were you? I didn't see you. Were you
at the top of the orchestra section?
Okay.
Yeah, like right at that top first
the orchestra
level.
Or the balcony?
The orchestra. So like right where that bar was in the main.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I was probably 2 sections over to the left.
Nice.
Me right at the top, me and Christian. It was great. I mean, it was great seats, everything. I wish I had one thing to complain about. I mean, there was Christian asked me, he's like, did anybody say anything crazy to you, like in line? Because that's prime Minute fans. Everybody's gonna recognize you from stuff like that. Everybody was great. Everybody was fantastic. I mean, a couple of jokes here and there, but it was fun to interact with people. And I personally had a really good time. So I can't imagine there was anybody other than the assholes who got kicked out.
So
what did you make of that? Did you think that you were gonna have to get a little physical?
I figured like there's security there to do that. If Kirk if
he stepped to the stage though, you were gonna meet him, right?
I mean, of course.
Yeah. Clarified that.
I will say, so my parents were in the orchestra at one point, and they have no idea what's going on. Like, I think they turned to, I think his name was Mike Teary or something.
Okay.
They sat next to him and they were like, hey, you got to tell us when to cheer. And we're like, we know when to cheer for the most part, when to boo, but like, I think they were confused when people were like booing Coleman, and they're like, isn't this like one of the show people?
Right.
Like,
don't we like him?
Why are we booing him?
Right.
But like, apparently the second guy who got kicked out the entire time was just screaming like just nonsense the entire time. And he was also like on his phone. Like my mom she called me the next day and was like on his phone. He was texting his girlfriend or something. Like, I'm going to like, I can't, like, you ever see those pictures of it's like some horny old dude at like a sporting event?
Yeah, I understand.
And it's like I can't wait to go home and like sniff your asshole.
Very in graphic detail.
Yeah, something you're like, dude, you're at a fucking Patriots game.
Right.
Like, well, like I get it that you're like drunk and your hormones are flowing. Right. Apparently it was like that. Wow. So like they were like invested in like they could read it too, which I can't do because I can't fucking see. But I thought that was funny.
A horn dog in the audience. Wow.
I think they said that the biggest cheer of the night was when they kicked out that guy.
It was a good pop.
I don't know. I forget exactly what he said to like finally push it over the edge, but it wasn't like just a one-time thing. It wasn't like the guy was like, oh, I like EI or Greg Hill or so, like just one-time thing. I think he like yelled out something like Kirk's you fuck your brother or something like this.
Yeah, when he was talking about his brother, he was setting up the bit for Mutt. It was like, I think
it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, it's stupid. Really, really dumb thing to do there. He compared it to like interrupting a comedy show, and I would agree because that's not quite stand-up comedy, but that's somebody with a microphone on stage that the entire audience is paying attention to their words. You need to be able to listen to them, and they don't need to be distracted by you. I was actually at a show with Tim Dillon at the Wilbur, and it was his final joke. It was before, I don't know, this was years ago. It was his final joke of the set. And some guy was kind of, you could hear him beforehand a couple of times saying it. I don't know if he knew the joke, but he was kind of like, oh, do whatever your final. Yeah. And so about halfway through, he looks at him. He's like, if you don't stop, I'm going to stop. And like, keeps doing the bit. The guy said one more thing. He's like, all right, Boston, have a good night. Blame him. And just left. And
no.
I was ready. You know, I don't really blame, I knew Kirk would never do that, but I'm saying like that just, it ruins the show for everybody, and the entire audience was pissed off. I had a great time up until that last point, and you leave with a bad taste in your mouth. And I just, thank God Kirk would never do that to the fans. But I just,
I couldn't see Kirk doing just
letting someone
ending the show like that.
Right.
Obviously, it's different when you're a touring comic, and this is probably his 800th set of the year, and he's like, well, what is the? I mean, it would take a lot, I think, for Kirk to end the Portland show halfway through. Do you think if there was a audio issue and the mics, me and Christian were kind of joking about that, like, what do you think would have happened there if the audio or the video went out? I think if the audio didn't work, he probably just would have screamed. I don't know exactly, but my guess would be he just would have screamed at us and fired us on stage.
Been about an hour and a half of being yelled at, and then see you later.
Yeah, but even I don't know if he could. If no one could hear anything, would he just like scream the entire time? Like,
he'd probably try. He might give it his all.
I don't know.
He might go no microphone.
Yeah, but thankfully, we didn't.
Of course, it worked out.
Have to figure that out. A C is probably around right. Because
what would you give yourself? You would say a C, or any? You'd be as honest as you can.
Yeah, probably a C. There were some times in which like he kind of went to me and Coleman, and I had nothing to say. Like my mom was just blank.
Right.
So that's probably something I need to work on as well. And then I think at one point it was when he was doing the American band song. I was moving a mic and he handed me the mic. And I didn't know what the fuck to say. I was just like, "We're an American band."
Yeah,
but it was,
that was something. I was wondering what you were going for there.
I was just like, I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, we're USA.
We're an American band, folks.
Yeah, USA chants always play.
Oh my God. Well, so compare this to like working with Dave for a live show with the Wilbur, like, because you probably had a little more responsibility with this, right?
Definitely, yeah. I was
give me the difference there.
I was only working with the show for the Wilbur ones, and I also had a different role.
Yeah,
I was just Dave kind of set up all the videos, had everything going. I was just there to kind of be like his helper.
Yeah,
if he needed anything in that point. So I definitely had more responsibility this time, but it was but yeah, and then obviously the other Portland show, I wasn't with the show, and same thing with Plymouth.
Yeah. What is your input on these videos and some of the bits that go, or I guess segments, whatever you want to call them, that go into these live shows? I know it's obviously all Kirk, but does he come to you for an idea? Does he ask your opinion on these ideas? I was curious about that.
Like input as in like
before the show, like, should we keep this in? What do you think?
No, he really doesn't do that. I would say he says like, hey, here's the outline of what the show is. It's going to be about redemption. He gives the video process. It's going to be this with this with Montante, this with you, this with Gus. If you ever feel like you're going to sneeze, it's just like,
you got a tissue, right?
No, it's just it's going to hit me in like the next minute or two.
You're good.
But then like I had a very much more bigger role in like the video Mike did about the KMS Investigates. Like he said like, hey, I'm trying to do I think like a KMS Investigates with Mike, just to incorporate Mike somewhere in there. And we were going to maybe do something with like Mike Violette. And I think Mike came up with like, what if I do like a KMS Investigates, like, is Justin a pedophile? Right. And then the bits and the segments in there kind of me and Mike thought of. And then we sent it over to Kirk, and there were a couple ones that didn't make the cut, which was obvious. One of the ones that didn't make the cut was he hacked my phone, and it was a phone call, and it's between me and just some girl, and I believe the contact name I had, so it was just like a screen recording of like a phone call, so like it was just a Beyond Average Mick. The contact name, I'm picturing your parents in the audience watching this, was possible Justin victim. That was me. Where is it? It was like
while Justin's looking for that, this is Dasani water, by the way. I imagine there's some people are like, oh, he's drinking on the show tonight. What's going on here? They banned plastic bottles in Yarmouth, Massachusetts. I know who did it, by the way. I know the girl in charge of this. Not good.
It was like Molly, tight ass, nice tits, blonde, like Miss Rosario's class
Jesus
or something
Christ.
like that. And it was her being like, hello. I used like an AI voice and it was like, hello, J-Rock. I'm in social studies. I can't talk right now. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Fourth grade doesn't matter. And like it was she's like thanks for buying beer for me and my friends. And I was like, oh fuck yeah, I can't wait to get you in the shack.
Jesus Christ.
And then it ends with her going like, J-Walk, I have some news. I'm like, oh, what is it? You're so hot. She's like, I finally got my first period. And then like I hang up right as she says that.
Yeah.
But we thought that was just like too on the nose. That was too like obvious. That was like, okay, if Mike can't figure this out, then like the point of the video becomes Mike's a retard rather than like I'm a pedophile.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
But yeah, that's that. And then people said they couldn't hear because people were cheering what Bubba said in the video.
Yeah, I think right when his face popped up, everybody went nuts.
Yeah. And I believe his exact quote was he's been known to touch kids. He touches kids. No, he touches kids all the time. He's known to touch kids.
Yeah, you poor grandpa.
And how I got him to say that was I just had the camera and I was like, hey, we're doing a video for something where Kirk's like a detective and he needs an old Boston cop input. Yeah. And you just need to say this. And he was like, oh, okay. And then he says the first line, which is he touches kids all the time. He's like, that doesn't make sense. Let me try something else. And I'm just like dying laughing.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
He's a trooper though. That was huge. Because I mean, people love to see that. That was a great little.
Bubba's the man.
Yeah,
Bubba's the man.
Certainly is. When we filmed the Mick Bait skit here.
Yep.
One of the more ridiculous days of my life, personally, because I at no point would ever. It just goes to show how all out Kirk goes for these type of things. Because never would I anticipate him being within like 1,000 feet of this front door. Like, why would he be? It makes no sense to me. And so when you hit me up, or Coleman had hit me up like 3 weeks before we did.
I heard this, yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I think you were in the text message too when I originally found out that like, oh, Kirk's coming too. Because Gus was like, yeah, what are you talking about? Like he of course he's coming. Like that's he's gonna be filming with it. And I'm just like, oh fuck. Like,
yeah, you thought it was because I will say like
I'm looking around like, oh fuck. Like,
your house is like I'm not spotless, but like very, very
two guys that live here. I think we do a pretty good job. I'm not saying
pretty good job.
Right,
I'm just saying if I lived here, like or like what I'm saying is if like it was me and my friend, it would not look like it looks like I mean this in like the nicest way possible. Like
we're not HGTV. He's giving me a lot of credit here.
Okay. I think it's pretty damn good for some guys in their late 20s.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Christian's 30 now. So I think actually, yeah, he is 30 now. He's old as hell.
Oh, happy birthday. That's why I actually asked to come on. I wanted to hang out with that guy, Christian.
I know, he loves you.
Then as soon as you said Christian can't come, I was like, I almost wanted to be like, oh, I just tested positive for COVID.
Yeah. We'll be coming next time, right? I don't even know what I was. Oh, the filming. When he came here, because like I said, I was obviously self-conscious to make sure the house looks good. That's just who I am. I don't know. I was kind of, my mom was raised us like that. If you have company over, you make sure the house is clean. You actually have food to offer, stuff like that. So when he originally was coming here, I knew whatever stood out in the house, like Gus's TV on the wall or something like that, I knew that would be talked about. So that was my biggest concern. But actually filming with him and doing that whole thing, I was nervous during the actual film because I didn't know. I asked you, I think 3 or 4 different times beforehand, hey, is there a script? Is there an idea? Is there anything that I need to know beforehand or prepare for? Because I don't know. And you were like, no, Kirk's just going to tell you what to do when he gets there. All right.
Yeah, I think what he say? Dress Mick. I think
Mick Beatty. Like wear like a Mick Beatty.
You're like, yeah.
All right, so wear a golf polo and a hat. Like, it was. My biggest, I guess, concern was just screwing it up for him, like in the moment, because he was so focused. He was wearing a goddamn wedding dress, running around the street. Like I'm like, this guy's going all out right now. I got to be able to nail this line. But I thought we did okay.
No, that was great. You got a huge pop.
Yeah. No, people seem to enjoy it. What did you make of the comment that he made during the show? I think it was towards the end, or it might have been towards the end or during the beginning. I don't remember. And he had referenced you as the most loyal guy in the history of the Kirk Minahan show. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. That's a very, very kind thing to say.
I mean, Steve Robinson, technically, he called him the co-founder, I think, on that same night.
That is true.
So you are more loyal than the guy who founded the show.
I mean, I'm not. This is even
his words.
This isn't even a dig on Steve. But if you're going to ask who's when they're out of the show, who's more into the Kirk Minahan show, me or Steve? That's not even a question,
right?
I mean,
but I meant like working for Kirk.
Yeah, those are very, very, very kind words to say. I don't know really how to respond to it.
Do you think he values that more than like I'm not saying because I'm not.
I don't know what he values.
All right, well, I'm asking here. Your opinion here. Do you think that's more important to him, or like your actual technical ability in producing? Because I would imagine, like,
I think the technical producing and ability and stuff is very, very important. But I do think he said like loyalty is above anything, and it makes me feel good to hear things like that.
Yeah.
But yes, I don't know what to say, but yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Made you feel good, right?
Yeah,
it's a good thing. Your boss thinks you're very loyal, and you know this isn't like a normal job. Like, you know, to hear that from somebody who, and like, I don't know, it's not like this is your manager coming up to you saying, "Hey, good job, we trust you." Like, it's a little more than that, and announcing at the live shows, that's high praise, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, Kirk's the best.
No. All right, what did you make on Coleman's performance?
Coleman was great. Probably the same boat as me.
Yeah.
And just like we didn't really add much content wise during the show, just focusing on producer. But yeah, I don't know exactly. I mean, he kind of like Kirk said, there was a good medium between the two of us. Like, I was super nervous, and he was like cool as a cucumber. There probably should have been some nerves there. Coleman said there was nerves. I don't know. It's all subjunctive. That doesn't make any sense.
It was his first show. Like, it was his first live show. So
I mean, it's crazy to think that like 6 months ago he wasn't a part of the world,
right?
And then like he's on stage,
yeah.
Like, because think about it, like even Dave going into the Wilbur and stuff was a part of the world for years before that. And just to jump onto it. And yeah, no, he took it on the chin. He took all the booing and everything like that on the chin.
Yeah.
And everything like that.
Do you like working with him?
Yeah, Coleman's great. I think we work very well together.
What's the difference between like him and guys you worked with before? You like it better? You like it worse? Is it harder? Is it easier?
Like, what do you mean, like the Shaq girls?
No, not the girls.
I'll take the Shaq girls over Coleman any day. Shout out to Shaq. They're the best.
Not the ones that you called beforehand. No, I meant like with Dave and Steve.
There's definitely a different dynamic to it.
Were they more your boss, would you say, or like would you look at them as more superior?
I would say because they were.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started, Kirk said when I first started on January 15th, this time around, he's like, I don't think of Justin or Coleman as Justin's boss. They're just kind of both the producer.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely am always looking to help. I reach out. Like if there's something Coleman needs, I'm like, hey, can I help do this? So I'm always trying to just make everyone's life easier that way. I don't know. You would have to ask him about that, but I think we have a pretty decent dynamic. You couldn't tell today listening to the producer show. We had the fucking
you guys were on top of it, huh?
Mix of oil and water there, but
yeah. All right. Last question on KMS specifically, then we'll jump into something else. I have a couple of other topics as well, but just describe working for Kirk now versus then. What's different now? Like why are you able to do it now versus then?
I don't know, probably my brain.
Yeah.
You grow and you have different perspectives on things.
Sure.
I wouldn't necessarily anything's changed a lot with Kirk. He's probably the same guy now as he stayed very consistent throughout, at least when I've been following him since 2019. He's very consistent from when he started. Obviously things have changed here and there, small things, but I don't think much has changed from him. It's probably just more of a me statement of me. I wouldn't call it maturing, but I would just call it like my brain. I've gone through some dark times, not necessarily with the show, but just outside in my life that I'm not currently in.
That's good.
So that's probably what's the biggest difference.
That's good. I'm happy to hear that.
I guess, yeah.
That's really good. It's good for you to acknowledge it at the time, that you needed the break or whatever. And, that's good. It's a really good thing. All right, we'll move on to something a little less serious. Masters meals. This is right up my alley. I don't know. Are you a golf guy?
I used to sell hot dogs at a golf course. So that's all I know about golf.
Well, this is perfect then, because you're the right guy to ask. The Masters meal. Are you familiar with that? They do the dinner.
I do know that the winner gets to choose. Like I think I saw this year.
It's not good.
It's like Mexican food, right?
Spanish. I think it's John Rahm. He's from Spain. Yeah.
So it's like Spanish food.
Yeah, it's some sort of like specialty. Yeah, I don't know.
Is it like?
Excuse me.
Is it like fajita? Not fajitas. Paella.
I think it was that. I think it was that, and there's two different meal like entrees, and they give you like 3 apps. One, I don't know if they do a drink of the day, but we're gonna do a drink of the day and a dessert. So Justin Trudell
Oh,
won
I
the
like
Masters.
this. Oh, I like
yeah,
this.
exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, he was a long shot. He's the low amateur and everything. He
Oh,
won the
fuck yeah.
Masters, and the following year, it's 2024. What are you bringing to the table?
So I can't choose like.
Give you anything.
So I could like this is just hypothetical. So I could choose like Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
You could,
or like it can be
or like one could be like spaghetti and meatballs. The other could be Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Those are
so there's two entrees.
Two entrees. We'll give you two entrees.
I'm gonna go
3 apps, 1 dessert, 1 drink. I don't know if that's how they do it at the Masters.
2 entrees, 3 apps.
Yeah, 3 apps.
Chicken wings are they an app or
that's
an
an
entree?
App. That's an app.
Okay.
That's an app.
Ribs are an entree.
Ribs are an entree.
I'm gonna go. Ribs is my first entree.
Okay. Any type of sauce, like a St. Louis style, Austin. What are we doing?
Like Sweet Baby Ray's.
Okay,
I'm a big Sweet Baby Ray's guy.
Okay.
Like they're wet too. I think.
Oh, really?
I think ribs. Yeah. I don't like people who like dry. Like I get dry rubs can be great.
Like dripping, or do you like just
fucking?
Oh, really?
smother
Okay.
that
All
shit.
right.
My mom
all right.
used to make ribs. This is how much I love ribs. My birthday is in September.
Mhm.
So like every start of the year, my birthday would always be like, sometimes it was the first day of school,
Right.
sometimes it was the 4th day of school.
Right.
And I think in first grade, it was like the 3rd day of school. And I
Mhm.
came in and my mom asked me like, what did I want for my birthday? And my mom would always bring in like cupcakes.
Sure.
Like parents would bring in cupcakes. This was
Right.
before,
The whole class, right?
Yeah. For the entire class. Yeah. This is
Nice
before
lady
the
right there.
allergy police took over.
That's right.
Everything became PC.
Yep.
And I was eating ribs that night. And for school, people were asking me like, "Oh, are you bringing cupcakes for?" And I was like, "No, I'm bringing them ribs." So I had the entire class thinking, and I told the teacher. And the teacher was like,
Are
"Oh,
you sure?"
please, like,
Yeah.
please don't bring."
What
in-
age is this again?
This is first grade.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So the teacher was like, "Please don't bring
Yeah,
in like
don't do that.
10 racks of ribs
Oh.
for these students to just eat during fucking like recess or something.
Right.
Can't you just bring in fucking?" But so ribs would be my first entree.
All right.
Hooters chicken wings breaded are going to be my first appetizer.
Okay. I'm gonna write these down.
Yeah, this is important.
Hold on 1 second.
I'm gonna go fried green beans is my second appetizer, and boneless spare ribs are gonna be my third appetizer. I'm a big Chinese food guy. I'm all over the place with this stuff. This is just like Justin porn right here. My second entree. Do I go Chinese food? Okie dokie. I'll just keep talking about this. Do I go Chinese food for this entree? I think I'm going to go General Gao's chicken. My entrees are going to be ribs, General Gao's chicken. Appetizer is going to be boneless spare ribs, Hooters chicken wings, and fried green beans from like TGI Fridays. I think that would be good. Ooh, can I have like Texas Roadhouse rolls? I think Texas Roadhouse rolls would be a good one as well. But is that an appetizer? Because you said something else. You said 3 apps,
Yep.
2 entrees.
Yep. 1 drink of the day, 1 dessert.
Okay, 1 drink of the day. So
Give me right now.
okay, entrees are gonna go ribs.
Yep.
And then General Gao's chicken.
Okay.
Appetizers are going to be boneless spare ribs, Chinese.
Yep. Spare rib Chinese.
Boneless spare ribs, yes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't like them, but I know.
Oh, you got so excited too.
Yeah, all right, continue.
Okay. The fried green beans. Got to throw some health in there.
All right, you got a little vegetables.
That's right.
Is that a side or what we said?
That-
Appetizer?
Yeah, that's an appetizer.
All right.
And Hooters chicken wings,
Okay.
which I think could be a meal in and of itself.
I like that.
Hooters, you got to go buffalo hot breaded and then barbecue. The barbecue, yeah, it's only hot chicken wings. 'Cause you got the ribs. You got the ribs for, and then drink. Is it like an alcoholic drink or can it be?
that? We give you the or whatever you want.
Okay, well then it's just Mountain Dew. It's just Mountain Dew whiteout. I'm getting in from Malaysia wherever they still make it.
I like that.
Mountain Dew whiteout, and the dessert.
Mm.
First of all, there's no room. I've never been a big dessert guy. Believe it or not. I'm a big guy, but I'm like, if you give me the option of like 5 more ribs or a slice of cake, I'm taking those ribs.
Really?
Fucking 10 times out
Even
of 10.
if you're stuffed.
Even
like, hey, come on, I'll finish them for you. Come on, yeah.
Yeah, like it pains me to see like people like this is how you know like someone's fat. Like when a pizza comes,
Yeah.
and there's like 8 slices and there's
start doing
three
math.
people, you start like, okay, how can I get the extra slice? It's like,
I
I
gotta
need
eat
to
this
eat it.
fast.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, that's like fat is not like a physical trait. It's like a mentality.
Yes.
I definitely have it.
Yes. Yes.
And then dessert. Yeah, I'm just going to go like
not like a chocolate mousse cake. Yeah. Vanilla
mint
sundae.
chocolate chip ice cream.
Okay. How about like the Green Monster from Friendly's? You like that thing?
Fuck the Red Sox, but yes, very good.
True. Yeah,
and also,
but didn't we establish
also,
that's not Red
it's
Sox
from Friendly's?
Yeah, we talked about
this. It's Hood. Was this you?
I was in studio that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Friendly's.
Blind Mike and you were talking about it.
It's the Friendly's has the monster.
It's like the Monster Mash.
Yeah, Monster Mash. It's just a green ice cream with the
it's a knockoff,
two
but
peanut things.
It's not actually.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with the Green Monster. And then Hood.
It kind of does.
Well, they serve it.
Like it's called the Monster Mash. It's green.
Well, is the song the Monster Mash have anything to do with the Red Sox?
That's a good point. But I mean, like if you look at the face of the Monster Mash, it probably looks somewhat similar to Wally, if I were to guess.
Let me see this.
Like I don't know that for a fact, but I'm not up to date on my Monster Mash imagery.
Monster Mash Friendlies. It looks nothing like a.
Okay,
like
I
a
stand
Wally.
corrected. I stand corrected. You're right. No association whatsoever. Just it's green. It's called the Monster, but whatever.
Well, like monsters are normally green.
It's true. It's true. What's the guy from Monsters Inc? Mike Wazowski.
Yeah.
What's your last?
What's your ice cream?
What's your last entree? Because you only did one of them, right? Is the ribs?
No, ribs and General Gauss chicken.
Oh yeah, it's okay. I wasn't sure if the chicken was the side. I got you now. All right.
And then if I had to put some sort of bread, it would be Texas Roadhouse rolls.
Texas Roadhouse. Ooh, okay.
That would just be like. I can just picture all these fit athletes coming, and they're just me, just fucking
what?
downing Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
doing that.
What about for if you were to do anything other than the Dew? Would you do an alcoholic drink? What would be your choice? You're
my
expert.
Alcoholic drink of choice is just beer.
Yeah.
So I just like IPAs. I like shitty. I like beer that doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
It depends on if I'm am I. Or a Coors Light. I don't know, just a beer.
Regular light beer. Yeah, I would go if I were to win the Masters myself personally, which could happen. I'm not trying to please people here, right? So we're just going what you would like, right?
Fuck
I'm the
everyone
champion.
else. Yeah,
I'm the guy who won.
Win.
Yeah, exactly.
My thing is,
if you want to do it, win. I'm going to do some sort of Italian dish. I think I would go chicken carbonara. Some sort of chicken carbonara. You know what? I'll go chicken Alfredo.
Okay.
A nice chicken Alfredo. I will not do. It's very good over there. But the problem is a lot of these chain places and these stuff. They do the thick Alfredo sauce, the very thick, creamy stuff. No. I want a nice homemade from some nice Italian woman in the kitchen, whipping it up. And I don't need that thing chunky, creamy. I need it I need a not soupy either. It's not soupy. You don't want it. You don't runny. But you got to have some sort of balance there. There's a good spot up the street that's good. That does it right, I should say. So that'd be my first entree. Second entree, I'm a sucker. I can't have it because Crohn's disease really.
I was just about to ask if there's anything that So
pasta will kill me, but really, what will really kill me is Alfredo sauce and shit like that. Yeah, anything like that will fuck me up. But there are times where I'm it looks so good, I just have to eat it.
Because I was going to say, a boss of mine has Crohn's disease, and he actually has a bag. And
we'll never. If I get real quick, if we ever get to the point where I got to attach a bag to my body, I feel bad for him, but I'll kill myself. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, trust me. If I ever get a point where I get my license taken away because I can't say, we'll have a suicide pact. We'll both be 50. You'll see you. You'll come out with a bag. I'll come out. I'll be head down on my bike,
and boom.
And it'll just be I'll be like, Mick, I'll see you. I'll see you when I see you. We'll just look at each other. But he something he can't eat is nuts. Yeah. He can't eat nuts. So I didn't know if there was something.
It's really different for a lot of people, but I think the similarities are saucy food, stuff like that's going to fuck you up. But if I have a piece of grilled chicken that's pretty much plain, it doesn't really.
Yeah. Much so chicken Alfredo.
Chicken Alfredo's one. I'll go appetizer. I'll give you a couple of apps first before I go to my next entree. What would go good with an Italian? I'm going to do nice homemade, a spicy meatball with it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can get a spicy meatball beforehand. That with some sort of Italian dipping bread that goes with it.
Okay.
That's a combo, the meatball and the bread. Next entree is going to be, believe it or not, a
big meatball or smaller meatballs. Does that make sense?
I know exactly what you mean. Restaurant style meatballs that are packed up big.
Okay.
Yeah, big ones. One you'd see at a nice Italian restaurant.
One that you have to break up to eat.
Yes,
You're not popping the entire thing.
No, yeah.
Okay.
It comes in two of them. There's only two.
Yes, you're like slicing it. It's almost like a cake.
You know what you're talking about. You know meatballs.
Oh, I know my balls.
You certainly do. And then next one, I probably would go like a pulled pork sandwich.
Pulled pork, so
like I'm very basic, but I love
fuck
pulled.
yeah.
Oh, it's so good, dude.
Let's go. Let's go. I have a great pulled pork recipe. You make it in like a crock pot. My mom
make it.
My mom. I've made it in the past. You make it in a crock pot. You just put. It's called pork butt. Believe it or not, I believe it's pork shoulder, but it's called pork butt for some reason.
Doesn't matter. It's pork.
Yeah, throw it in the crock pot. You add Coca-Cola to it, and it like breaks it down, and then you just smother it in sauce.
Really?
So this goes back to the wet versus dry. Are you dry or wet pulled pork?
It depends on where. Like I guess I would rather it more dry than wet.
Okay,
but I don't want it like I need a little bit. You need of juice
something,
yeah. Like, but like I don't want it like soggy.
So
you know what I mean? It really is. No, even if it is soggy though, I'll do it. I certainly will. There are times where I was down in Austin for a little while when I was a kid, not a kid, but like 22, and that's like the barbecue capital of the world, right?
Oh yeah,
it's kind of known as that. I was eating, dude. Pulled pork like just about every single day. It's fantastic.
Dude, it'd be dangerous. Say that's the thing. Like I hear like Mike going to like Austin, and he's like, oh, the food down there is like it'd be dangerous for me.
Yeah,
like you hear of like people like going to like places where they're like, oh, you didn't see this, I would just go to Austin. They'd be like, oh, did you check out the comedy scene or anything? I'd be like, no,
I went to Stubbs.
I just ate all fucking day. Right. It's just like, oh, Justin, you're 400 pounds now. And
well, that's kind of starts with happening with a lot of these. You probably don't have too many friends that are getting married yet, right? Like,
not really.
Okay, so like a lot of my friends are now just starting to get married, so you get those bachelor parties and crap like that. Me and Christian were discussing this, where when you go on the trip where you just drink the whole time, like everyone just wants to like. I went to New Orleans for my cousins. There's nothing to do there other than drink, and like that's kind of fun. But like we were all like, I'd rather go sit in a museum. I'd rather go do anything other than just drink the entire day. Like I don't want to wake up, go to lunch, start drinking, and go. You know, he wants to go all night. Like I hate that. Like
fuck, dude.
I'd probably be the guy eating food at the bar, like you. I'd rather do that.
Oh, dude, I just go to like Kansas City for like a Patriots game or something. Just fucking. Oh, dude, I lived in Buffalo for a couple months. Yeah. The food there.
What'd you do there?
I went to nursing school.
What? Is this known?
Yeah, I think I've said this before.
I didn't know it was in Buffalo.
Right out of high school, I went to a university at Buffalo. Believe it or not, stayed in the Goodyear dorm. Got into nursing school there. I wanted to kill myself, so I left. But the food there is like
sorry, that was very forward.
Oh, that's true. It's the truth. I wasn't ready for school. Yeah. The food there is like underrated. Like I know everyone talks about the chicken wings. The pizza there is so good. It's very thick. It's different than anywhere else. They have incredible food there. Just in general, I could talk for fucking 3 hours.
Did you get to Niagara Falls?
Oh yeah, I did. We went a couple times.
Something that I didn't appreciate as a kid.
Niagara Falls.
Yeah, my mom was like, "Hey,
it was fun," but I was just thinking about chicken wings and fucking pizza. So.
My mom was doing the thing where like, "Hey, we're at one of the 7 wonders of the world, guys. Like, you should really appreciate this." And like, we were like, "Can we just get back in the car? It's fucking free."
I went on the American side. I haven't been on the Canadian side.
I think I was in Canada actually at the time.
I hear the Canadian side's better.
It was a good site. It's nice, but like I said, I should appreciate it more. I guess the final appetizer for me would be some sort of like garlic mashed potato, but I'm trying to think if that would go well with the pulled pork. I'm trying to think what goes well with like a pulled pork sandwich.
I think
mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes a good
comfort food.
It would definitely be like mashed potatoes plus like chicken Alfredo plus like meatball don't really go together.
No, yeah, it'd be two separate. Like
it goes together with me. Like don't do it. Don't you worry. I'm having 2 plates.
All right. For a dessert, I really am a sucker for like a Oreo mousse cake thing, something like that. Like a little bit of ice cream inside, like around an Oreo cake. I'm in. Sold. And then drinks. My cousin, I think it was my cousin. So one of the weddings I was at, they did like some sort of like blackberry old fashioned. It doesn't sound great, and like I'm not a big bourbon guy or anything like
Sounds
that.
Good.
But blackberry, I guess for me, doesn't really do it. But it was one of the best drinks we ever had, and enough where like I'm gonna order 2 of those type of drinks. I got a little banged up, but like
so here's the thing. Like I think you can't tell if you like a drink unless it's like the first thing you drink. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, you don't want to be liquored up trying.
Because if we're 5 beers into it, 3 hours out, and I'm like, Mick, you got to try this new shot. It's lemon juice mixed with whiskey,
100%.
Mixed with apple juice, and then you try it. You could be like, dude, this is the fucking greatest.
You're
thing
a little banged up. So
if you go to it and like when you're sober and you're like, oh, this tastes good. That's when you know, like, oh fuck. Like the best drink I ever had was I think it was 2018. I went out with my friends to the Red Sox parade. I didn't go to the Red Sox parade. I think it was like Halloween, or it was Halloween
Right around that
weekend
time,
or
probably.
something
That's when the
around
playoffs.
and we went to Howl at the Moon in Boston. I don't know if you've ever been, but
I've heard of it. No, I've never been.
this was like right around when like me and my friends like discovered Jaeger bombs. So that was like a go-to like pre-drink.
You're late for that. I feel like those were like pre-me. Like,
Yeah, so I really didn't drink like underage. So I was like 22 at the time.
Okay.
So and then we just kind of discovered Jaeger bombs. We're like, dude, you just take Jaeger and you just mix it with fucking Red Bull and you fucking feel great.
It's that
So we would like pregame and do like 5 or 6 of those. We go to Howl at the Moon and I get like something called a fruit roll up, and it's like this giant bowl. It was like $50, and I sip it and I go, "This is the greatest thing I've ever tasted." Yeah. That's the last thing I remember. That
was it for you.
And then I came to, and I'm crying to someone outside of a hotel, someone like cleaning the windows about like race relations. Oh no! I'm like, man, why can't we just get along? And
I get your opinion on something, sir.
And he's like, I can't do the voice, but he was like, yes, very sad, yes. I know.
Leave me alone, giant man.
So that's when I came to.
Yeah. Is that your worst drunk story?
My worst drunk story. When I was in high school, I went over my friend's house. This was after I graduated, or this was the summer after I graduated, or like right around then.
Yep.
And I was going over my friend's house, and there was like 3 other guys going, and they were big into the ganj, and I really don't smoke.
Okay.
So I worked at a pizza delivery place in Attleboro at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Briggs Corner, great pizza. And I was a delivery driver, and there was another guy there who was like 23, 24, and I gave him like $40. I was like, hey, can you get me a thing of Jack Daniels?
Yeah.
And I really never, I had beers here and there.
Right.
So he's like, yeah, he gets me a thing of Jack Daniels. I give him the rest of the money. I go over to my friend's house, and we are hanging out. I'm sitting down. They're like smoking weed.
Parents home? Anyone home? Like
his mom was home, but he was upstairs. Would let us do a thing. It was just 4 guys.
Everybody had that one friend where you could go to the house.
Yeah, it wasn't. Right? It wasn't more so that. It was just more so just like it was just hanging out. Yeah, it really wasn't anything. And I'm the only one drinking.
Oh boy,
I'm just drinking it straight because that's
drinking
what
Jack alone.
And I stand up because I'm like, oh, I don't feel drunk at all.
Right. Bless you. I don't know if that was your loud sneeze.
I burped.
Okay. That's okay.
But I stand up and I was like, whoa, I'm feeling this. And then I was like, oh, I feel good. But like I was drinking it so quickly that like I was continuously.
You haven't even processed it yet? Like
I haven't even processed it. And then at one point I go to take a drink and I was like, dude, this tastes like fucking water.
That's not good.
I was like, this is the smoothest thing.
That's not good.
Last thing I remember is saying like this. I wake up. I remember I was really into Jimmy Garoppolo.
Like 19 right now?
I'm 18, about to turn 19.
Okay.
I was really into Jimmy Garoppolo. I would wear this Jimmy Garoppolo jersey everywhere. I was like that fucking loser who would listen to the Sports Hub and just talk about Jimmy Garoppolo because I knew the backup quarterback and it's funny to wear the backup quarterback jersey. I wake up. I'm covered in puke. Just puke everywhere. Puke in my hair. Puke in my fucking on my face, inside my ears.
Oh my god.
And I get up, and my friend Mike, he's like, if you're gonna fucking throw up, go to the fucking bathroom. He just looks like he just went through hell.
Is he looking at you? Does he know what you look like?
He's
okay.
Yeah, he's like against the thing. And apparently I was laying down and I was like throwing up, and he like rolled me over, and I was rolling around in it, and I was moaning like,
oh my god. Oh my goodness, Justin. You can't be an easy guy to move around to. And
no, I was smaller then, but still
that can't be fun.
And so what happened was I had the thing, and at one point I went to go take a swig, and I hit my tooth.
Oh,
and you can see it, like you can kind of see it.
Yeah, it's a teeny, like
so it was worse. So I got it. So
like filled in or whatever.
So I go, I take a shower, and I'm just like disgusted. Like I think I calculated that my BAC was probably like 0.27 or 0.28, something like.
You're borderline like alcohol poisoning.
Yes, like I should have gone to the hospital. Yeah. Like I should have gone. Like if like I could have died.
Certainly.
I go there. I come home and I go over like my aunt's house for something, for like someone's birthday party, like my cousin's birthday party. My mom's like, "What happened to your tooth?" And I was like, "Oh, no, nothing happened." It was like very obvious. So I go to the dentist. I make up some bullshit lie about how we're playing baseball or football.
Caught an elbow.
I got hit or something like that. And then I go to the dentist, I get it fixed, and then like 2 weeks later, that little piece falls out, and I'm like, "Fuck." So I get it fixed again. 2 weeks later, the little piece falls out again. So I'm
Right.
like, at this point, I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep going back for this small little piece that no one really
Right.
notices. But it was a lot worse than it was. But that was probably the worst I've ever gotten. I've never gotten to that point. Like, I just mentioned another story where I blacked out, but it was really the only 2 times I've ever.
You don't seem like the aggressive, like drunk who like picks a fight or even like runs his mouth. Am I wrong?
No. I'm more of like hey man, like
Just chill out,
like,
vibes.
like,
Yeah, 'cause I saw you at the show when we went to that. We went to the Blink-182, the cover band show.
Oh yeah,
You were vibe. I mean, you were like the exactly kind of what I expected.
Oh,
like,
I'm
life
like
of the party, hanging out.
I'm like I'll buy drinks for people
Yeah,
that I don't
who's
even
doing
know.
one?
Just be like, hey,
yeah.
what up?
Yeah.
But no, I'm definitely not an aggressive drunk. I'm trying to think of. I'm the kind of person that was like, this used to be a big problem,
Mhm.
not problem, but like early on when I was drinking, I would like talk to someone and they'd be like, man, we're just going to become best friends.
Oh, boy.
Like, we're just going to become best. And people would be like, okay, like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, man, we get it.
But they'd say that if they were like sober, but if they were also drunk, they'd be like, yeah, well, let's go be fucking best friends.
But you'd also rather that than the guy who's like a dickhead. Like I that can be annoying. I know what you're saying, but like I would rather, because I have friends that are. I would say most of my friends are kind of like that, where we all just get overly stupid, nothing crazy. Like we're not yelling stuff, but between each other, we might like say some stupid stuff and laugh. But like, I would way rather that than the guy who's just like, when we go out with him, it's we gotta watch out. Something could happen. Like I feel like everybody kind of has that friend growing up.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't really. Yeah, I would just get like stupid. I wouldn't really get like aggressive, or I would never try to fight anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of.
I guess. Do you have anything for me? Is what I want to ask you. Do you have any questions? Any advice? Anything?
You were saying earlier about like how much you hate Jeff D. Lowe and everything like that.
Oh yeah, you caught that. I didn't say that at all. But I guess let me clarify this. Jeff D. Lowe has always been a fan of. I've always been a fan of Jeff D. Lowe. Is what I'm trying to say. I didn't mean to say it like that. I've always liked Jeff D. Lowe. I call him Jeffrey Lowe, kind of just tongue in cheek. I feel like everybody understands that. I thought Jeff understood that. I was under the impression that Jeff listens to the show. Yep. Now I don't. He just calls in. He doesn't listen. So I get that now. So if he thinks that I'm being serious here and he's actually mad at me because he's not answering my messages, I told him how great he did during the live show. I said, Jeff, you absolutely killed it, brother. I didn't get to see you this weekend. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people bothering you for pictures. I didn't really want to go up to him while there was 7 other people asking. I was like, if I saw him, one-on-one, I absolutely would have went up to him. But he looked like he had 10 different people around him anytime I saw him. But I wanted to make sure that I said, hey, you did a great job, Jeff, blah, blah, blah. No answer. Nothing.
Damn.
I mean, that's the Minifan of the year.
That is that quote unquote Minifan of the year. That was stuffed for that one.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
I know. I hope that he doesn't actually, because Kirk had said to him on the Friday show with Andy Mayo. Mm-hmm. He had said like, Mick, I'm not doing that. I'll buy him a drink. And the Kirk was like, come on, you got to lean into it a little bit. He's like, yeah, I do. So I heard that. I'm like, does he actually like think I think he's a cheap fuck? Because he's not. I'm joking, Jeff. Come on. God damn it. Answer my text, Jeff.
I don't. Yeah, answer makes. Yeah, there's no way Mick's looking more into this than it actually.
No, never.
That's not something Mick does. So
not
Jeff, you gotta get your shit together and reach out to the man.
No, he's fine. I'm joking. He did a great job on that. Saturday night.
Yeah, he had a bigger role than I thought, because it was announced like a couple days before that story that he was going to tell in Chicago that one time was actually going to be told in the on the live show. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I have for you. No, just
on that same Friday with Jeff, that was the Andy Mayo show. Mm-hmm. Give me your thoughts on him not going to the show, his performance that day. Because honestly, Justin, I was listening on the way up to Portland. Me and Christian were. Everybody always accuses Mayo about making it about himself, and I get that. Like, I feel like I do that too at sometimes with conversation.
We all do,
of course.
We all think that about me. No,
I know what you're talking about. I know what you mean. Everybody thinks that about themselves, but with Mayo specifically, it is staggering how much something will relate back to him, and it has nothing to do with him whatsoever. And I don't really pick up on it all the time. This time specifically, I was like, oh my God.
I would agree with that. Like at first I would be like, it's a little bit of a stretch, when Andy comes in, he has these questions.
I think he plays it up, but
too. When Kirk was like, oh yeah, you can tell they're nervous talking about me and Coleman.
Yeah.
He would be like, yeah, I think that's because I'm here. And I was like
what?
My brother in Christ.
Yeah.
No one
thinks it's like,
why? are you nervous for, Mike and the Minifans tonight or the show on Saturday or, videos or anything like that? It's like, no, it's because Andy Mayo, who's been in here 5 times, is in here once again.
I remember Christian said to me after the walkout, after that,
because he was in on that show.
He was in on that show. He mentioned that during the show the other day, which is another thing he tried to what did he try to take credit for the most listened to? So he was like, I've been in here for the most listened to shows. Not that it's my doing, by the way. Like, Andy, shut your goddamn mouth.
And also, I think we can agree to, obviously you would never do this, but in that moment, he said, yes, he was so scared.
So I'm getting at, yeah.
And when he's like, yeah, if Mick came back in with a gun, I would have tackled him.
Like, does anybody believe that? Yeah, does anybody believe that
would have happened?
Mutt would have got up immediately. Mutt would have sprinted and met me right there, or you would have. But no,
which is fine. No one really knows what they would do, but I know for a fact Andy Mayo would not have.
Which is even another thing that he said during that show, which I don't know if because I didn't listen to it right away. I remember I went home that day. I was driving home. I was fuming. I tried to put it on, and I'm like, I shouldn't be listening to this right now. Yep. I just need to just clear my head. Like, this is too much. I went back eventually and did, of course. And Christian said, did you hear what Mayo said right after you left? I go, no, I really didn't. He's like, he said it literally right when you're leaving. You don't remember? And I was like, no. He goes to Kirk. It's like silent. Like they're kind of like decompressing the moment. And he says like, damn, Mick's going to be so mad at me now. Yeah. And like he's dead fucking serious. Like what? And why would I ever? There had nothing to do with Mayo in that situation. There was nothing to do with him at all. He didn't even talk. I was like, why would I ever be mad at him? I listened to that back. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I forgot about that. Yeah, he's like, no, he did say
he's
that.
Gonna be so mad at me. I'm like, why? Why would I be mad at you? Like,
just fucking Andy Mayo
making it about himself.
It's very funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you don't have anything else for me, I think we can pretty much wrap this up.
What else do you have on that list? Anything?
I had Blind Mike and Lauren Compton. We talked about that, didn't we?
Very good.
Yeah, it was very good. I was happy to see Mike on there. Do you think he has a future with that show or those guys at all? Maybe just appearance here or there.
Does he have a future? I don't think First Date is necessarily. I'm not too into it. I don't think it's something where you have reoccurring guests into it. I could definitely see him getting picked up by some big studio.
Yeah,
and having the Blind Mike project be a part of some bigger thing. But also, he likes doing Patreon. So
yeah, it's true.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I think it would be up to him. I think he fits in perfectly with what he's doing.
Yeah.
Now. So no, I think it was he's great at like those quick, like I think it was when she asked him like Harry Potter or Star Wars, and he's like, what am I, a fucking dork?
He's perfect. Yeah. He's a great Mike response.
He's the best part. And I remember beforehand, me and Coleman were joking, and Mike wasn't in one day. We're like, oh, Mike's gonna be nervous, blah blah blah. And Mike comes in, he's like, these two fucking incels fucking thinking I can't talk to girls. He was perfect in that. Yeah. He was awesome.
He was great. And she was like, yeah, like, what's your house look like? He's like, fuck if I know. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know. What are you talking about? He was great. He had a couple of really good one-liners, a couple of good responses. And I think, I saw some of the comments. I'm sure that she gets a lot of good comments on her YouTube, but it seemed like all of the comments loved him. It seemed like the people who didn't know him, not just obviously the Minifans, hype him up. But I'm saying there's people that are like, oh, Lauren seemed to love this guest. Lauren seemed to laugh a lot here. Blah blah blah. I saw that going around. So good for Blind Mike. Hopefully it worked out for him, and they have him back on, or maybe not her specifically, but that group of people. Or,
yeah. I don't know. He's very he's the best.
He is. All right. Well, what are you going to do for your next couple days off, or not days off, but without the normal show going on?
I have a couple things planned. I'm not sure if they're going to hit or not, but I do have some ideas of just like small little videos for things. So don't want to give anything away.
No, please don't.
Like I said, put out a terrible producer show with me and Coleman earlier today. So definitely go check that out to see the chemistry between us. It's off the charts.
Yeah.
Trying to think.
You said you got some ideas coming. Let me just ask you this before we get out of here. Was there ever have you always been open to like kind of making yourself the butt of the joke and like or like showing like your messy car or your room? Like, was there ever a time where you were like, I shouldn't do that, or you want it to be taken like, not serious, but you know what I'm saying? Like, does that ever get old?
Does it get old? Like you got to understand for certain things where it's like, I love cringy comedy. I think like one of my favorite things is to like follow like Tom Myers, things like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's funny to laugh at someone. And I like to think that if people are laughing at me while I'm in on the joke, while I'm able to kind of play along with it, that there's nothing better than that. So for the most part,
you got a hell of a therapist who told you that. That's perfect. I'm kidding. No, it's a good way to look at it. That's a really good way to look at it.
No, I think it's just like
it really is though.
Because I mean, if
everybody thinks that like if
you think like I'm off limits,
right,
but other people aren't, And it all depends. Like if it's something I don't want to talk about, then I would just say to Kirk, like, off. I don't think I've ever.
Does it ever happen?
I don't think I've ever been like, hey, can we not talk about this with anything? I'm trying to think.
It certainly hasn't been like vocalized. Not that I've remember.
No, I don't think I've ever. I think for the most part, it's like yeah, there are certain things I think are funnier than others, but also who am I to judge?
Yeah.
What other people think is funny, or when something's getting old. It's because you also got to take yourself out of the situation and be like, how if it's not happening to you and it's a joke with somebody, like if I can't sit there and be a fan of the show in July of 2019 and laugh at, you know, Mike fucking his mom jokes every single show and then be like, oh, the pedophile stuff's getting old. I will say that a couple weeks ago when I freaked out over that,
you seem to get a little annoyed by it, right?
Yeah, sometimes you just snap and things get to it. But I just thought there was a line that was being crossed with the show title, Justin Trudell is a pedophile.
Yeah.
Or as a kid toucher or something like that. I was like, oh, this does not look good.
Just don't want that on the internet.
Yeah, you know, sometimes we all have our moments where we all snap like that, but it happens.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, I think everything's fine.
I think you nailed it when you said, and I was fucking with you there, but I think there's a great attitude saying if everybody's laughing at me and I'm in on the joke, is it really offensive? Because like you know what you're doing. Like you know it looks ridiculous. You know your room is, you know, like you could easily clean it up and then show people, do a different video. But like you're like, no, what? I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to kind of go in on it. If people think it's funny, it's funny.
Like I'm a fucking slob.
Oh no,
like,
we all know.
Yeah. Fucking obvious,
We're aware.
But like I'll think like, oh, like my car's actually pretty good right now.
Attaboy.
But I forgot. So I was debating when I was in the studio today. I was like, do I fucking load up these goddamn blankets and bring them back here? But then I was like, my entire car.
You don't want it to smell.
Reek of dog, or whatever the fuck it is.
I'm happy to bring the blankets that I brought to you back home. All right, I'm happy to do it. I'll wash them too. That was fine. No problem.
Did you wash them beforehand?
Yes, that's what everybody was like. Yeah, everybody was like, they smell bad. I'm like, I washed them. Maybe I gotta get more detergent in there. I don't know.
But
I was unhappy to hear that.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
But,
all right. Well, thank you for joining me. You're always welcomed here. Always, no matter what. I was happy to have you on here. Happy that you were willing to make the trip down. Really appreciate it all. So we will talk to everybody on Tuesday. When's KMS come back? Monday?
No idea.
Okay, perfect. As a very, very well informed producer here. But look for KMS. Watch the other network shows, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.